Welcome back to Virginia This Morning, live on CBS 6. It's never a good idea to talk about religion and politics with friends, but sometimes it's inevitable. Our next guest is a popular Maryland-based motivational speaker who shares some insight on this topic.
Having a little toughness to keep the peace. They don't seem like they quite measure up, but conversation today with Eric Rittmeyer is going to put two and two together for us. Eric, it is great to see you. Thank you so much for making time.
Likewise, Jessica. Thank you for having me back. I love you guys.
Our pleasure. We always have such great conversations with you. You and I were saying we haven't had the chance to talk together yet. You've usually spoken with Bill, so I'm really excited to get to the heart of the matter. You've got some insight for us today on something that really is increasingly coming to the forefront, using mental toughness to keep the peace when it comes to talking with those we disagree with politically. Okay, go.
Do we have 30 minutes? It's insane. We live in this crazy time, Jessica. I mean, I can remember a time where we all used to get along. We used to talk about sports teams. We used to talk about our favorite TV shows. Our society has just gotten to the point where we're incapable of accepting opposing points of view, and it's making everybody angry. It's making everybody crazy. Our nation needs to understand that we're just intoxicated in emotion right now. It's time for us to sober up, start thinking logically, and start to respect others. And although they might have a different point of view, we can at least hear them and understand what they're saying.
Well, of course, we see the book cover right next to you, The Emotional Marine, 68 tips for mental toughness and dealing with a variety of situations. How do we go about this? We are so passionate about our beliefs, right? And the topic of political conversation, really, we've been taught to be taboo, right? You keep your thoughts to yourself. So how do you bridge the gap?
We're emotion-based creatures, Jessica. We're hardwired to feel first and think later. So we very easily lose control of our emotions. When somebody says something that triggers us, we go into this reaction, this knee-jerk reaction where we say and do things we wouldn't normally say. So mental toughness allows us to comprehend the fact that, hey, I'm getting ready to enter into an emotional state of mind. What I'm going to say and what I'm going to do, I need to be careful because I'm going to say something that might ruin a relationship. It might upset somebody inadvertently. So what we need to do is get control of our emotions and learn how to think with facts, with logic, and with respect. We've lost the ability to do all those things.
Well, you raise a great point, Eric. Know your triggers, right? These points that are going to set you into overdrive. If you're so emotionally invested, if you're so deep set in those, how do you take that first step to recognize those triggers?
You have to be aware of it. It's like dieting. It's like if you're going to go into situations where you're going to be around a bunch of food, what do? You prepare yourself for it. So with me, I stuff my face with lettuce and everything else, and I go there like I can't eat another bite. Meanwhile, I can't eat another bite. I eat all the time. But it's the same thing. If you're going to these situations, mentally prepare yourself. Okay, if this happens, this is how I'm going to respond to it. Take time to process what people are saying and then respond to it. Don't react to it. Respond to it after you've had the ability to comprehend it logically without the emotions involved.
That's a great distinction, the difference between responding and reacting. How are you practicing this? How do you advise? How do you share tips on making the difference between the two and getting used to responding?
Yeah, it's taking control. This is really the only thing we have total control over, Jessica. The only thing we have 100% control over are our thoughts. Things can happen around us. Things can happen to us. We have total control over how we respond to those things. It's really looking internally and just processing things a little differently. It's not easy to do. I'm not going to say it's as simple to do. It does take practice, but it all starts with self-awareness and knowing that what we say and what we do, that has impacts on other people, and we have to be cautious.
Great insight. We have about a minute left, Eric, and I want to talk a little bit about not letting those emotions get ahead of you, not letting those be sort of manipulated or hijacked in a way so that you can stay in a state of responding and not overreacting.
Yeah, and it's so difficult to do right now because the millisecond somebody even breathes about a belief they have or something they feel or how they're going to pull that little lever on November 3rd, we automatically just go berserko. So it really is a matter of putting ourselves in these situations in advance. So when we go into them, we know, okay, this is how I'm going to respond to it. Just like military training. We prepare, we train. So when we're put in the real situation, we've kind of systematically desensitized ourselves to it to where our brain's already prepared. So at that point, we can set aside the emotion, think logically, and respond to it, as opposed to the knee jerk, I'm going to jump down your throat because I don't like your belief.
Well, this all comes together, great tips, by the way, all comes together in that big category of emotional intelligence we're hearing so much about, right? And I think it pays dividends to begin practicing this like you've suggested.
It does, and we receive no training on it. Our kids get no education on it. As adults, we get no education. So what happens? We go through school, we memorize, regurgitate, we get thrown into the workforce. Somebody says something we don't like. We don't know how to respond to it other than anger, other than mean words. What do? We go crazy because we have no training. Our nation needs to learn emotional intelligence skills. It's really the path to peace in our country.
Well, you're helping everybody take a step in that direction. You've put together an ebook and you're ready to share that.
It's on my website. It's mentaltoughnesspeaker.com. Your viewers can go on there and check it out, download it for free. Beans will like it. It's Beans approved, so everybody's good to go. Beans, I got Beans. Beans loves me.
If anybody needs some emotional intelligence training, I think he might be the Yoda of the group in terms of instructing all of us. So we'll just see how it all comes together. Eric, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Likewise, Jessica. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for having me. Tell Bill I said hi, too.
I will. Thanks for being back with us. And we'll be sure to include a link so that you can learn more. It'll be on WTVR.com/VTM.